Did you know that NASA's Artemis program aims to establish a long-term presence on the Moon and eventually prepare for a mission to Mars? Let's dive into NASA's Artemis program and the exciting future of lunar exploration. NASA and the Canadian Space Agency have recently announced the 4 astronauts who will embark on Artemis 2, the first crewed mission on NASA's path to build a durable base on the Moon. With the Artemis missions, NASA aims to land the first woman and first person of color on the Moon, utilizing innovative technologies to explore more of the lunar surface than ever before. The agency plans to collaborate with commercial and international partners to establish a sustained participation on the Moon and gain invaluable knowledge for the next giant leap, sending astronauts to Mars. But why is NASA going back to the Moon? Scientists could explore the Moon's lava tubes, which are underground tunnels formed by ancient volcanic activity. By studying these lava tubes, they could learn more about their structure, potential for human habitation, and the presence of valuable resources. Developing efficient and sustainable energy sources for a lunar base, such as nuclear energy, could lead to advancements in renewable energy technologies on Earth. Companies could exploit lunar resources like helium-3 for fusion energy generation on Earth, while private entities might offer trips to the Moon, creating a new industry centered around lunar exploration. Lessons learned from operating a lunar base could be applied to future missions to Mars, helping scientists and astronauts understand the challenges of extended space travel and developing strategies for sustaining human presence in space. It all started in the 1950 and 1960, when the Soviet Union and the United States sent robotic probes to the Moon, taking pictures and collecting valuable data. The United States then launched the Apollo program, which successfully landed astronauts on the Moon. The Apollo missions provided detailed observations of the Moon's surface, collected samples, and expanded our knowledge of lunar geology. By studying the Moon, we have learned about the solar system's evolution and its connection to human existence. Now, let's talk about NASA's Artemis program. The Artemis program is a multi-step process. Artemis I, an uncrewed mission launched in November 2022, tested the safety of the rocket and spacecraft. Named after the Greek goddess of the Moon, Artemis aims to return astronauts to the lunar surface and eventually prepare for a mission to Mars. The program consists of key components: the Space Launch System, SLS, and the Orion spacecraft. The Space Launch System is a powerful rocket that will launch the Orion spacecraft, a capsule designed to carry astronauts. Together, they will enable crewed missions to the Moon and lay the groundwork for future missions to Mars. Artemis II, planned for 2024, will carry 4 astronauts and travel to greater distance from Earth than any previous mission, completing a lunar flyby. Finally, Artemis III, scheduled for 2025, will witness the first woman and the next man stepping onto the lunar surface, spending about a week exploring the Moon's south polar region. NASA recognizes the importance of partnering with private companies and international space agencies. One company that has played a pivotal role is SpaceX. NASA's boss, Bill Nelson, has praised SpaceX's capabilities, particularly their Starship spacecraft, which is set to become the strongest launch vehicle ever created. SpaceX's Starship spaceship and Super Heavy rocket, together known as Starship, are a reusable transportation system made to carry up to 100 people and things to different places like Earth's orbit, the Moon, Mars, and more. Starship is able to carry up to 150 metric tons when it's reusable and 250 metric tons when it's used only once. It uses the company's tested Raptor engines and draws on the flight experience of their Falcon and Dragon vehicles. The Starship has a large cabin and 2 airlocks for astronauts to walk on the Moon's surface. Its ultimate goal is to send humans on other planets like Mars. The SpaceX founder Elon Musk has often spoken about his dream of building cities on Mars. NASA is also working with other partners, including the European Space Agency, ESA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, and the Canadian Space Agency, CSA. These partnerships bring together expertise, resources, and funding to achieve common goals in lunar exploration. In addition to landing astronauts on the lunar surface, NASA plans to establish a small space station in lunar orbit called the Gateway. The Gateway will serve as a staging point for lunar missions, allowing for longer surface stays and facilitating access to different areas of the Moon. It will also provide a platform for international collaboration, enabling astronauts from various countries to participate in lunar exploration. The Artemis program will focus on conducting scientific research on the Moon. Astronauts will collect samples, study the lunar environment, and deploy instruments to gain a better understanding of our celestial neighbor. This research will contribute to a wide range of scientific fields, including geology, astronomy, and astrobiology. Living and working on the moon is challenging because of radiation, extreme temperatures, and no air. To overcome these challenges, they can use 3D printing and in-situ resource utilization (SRU). 3D printing means making things by printing them layer by layer. On the moon, 3D printers can be used to make structures and parts using the moon's dust and rocks. For example, a habitat or a tool can be built by printing it with materials found on the moon instead of bringing everything from Earth. Overall, the Artemis program represents an exciting chapter in space exploration, with NASA leading the way in returning humans to the moon and preparing for future deep space missions for the benefit of human lives and technological advancement. So what challenges and considerations need to be addressed in order to establish a sustainable presence on the moon? And how might these efforts contribute to future deep space missions, such as sending astronauts to Mars? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Watch our other video on SpaceX to launch first commercial space station in 2025, and we will see you in no time.